You've felt this before.
You start something.
At first, it's fine.
You're going. You're working. You're making progress.
Then it gets uncomfortable.
You get tired.
And your mind starts talking.
Maybe this is enough.
Maybe I've done enough for today.
And slowly you stop.
You tell yourself you'll come back to it later, but you don't.
And deep down, it feels like you reached your limit.
But what if that wasn't your limit at all?
Today, we are taking a deep dive into the absolute limits of human endurance.
Yeah, we're looking squarely at the invisible barriers inside your mind.
Right. We're drawing purely from the raw factual experiences and the psychological frameworks detailed in David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me.
Really to figure out what is physically and mentally happening in your brain when you hit the wall.
And more importantly, how to hack your own internal software to push past it.
So let's really set the stage here, because I want you to put yourself in that exact moment of wanting to quit.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Imagine you're staring at a blank screen. It's 2 a.m.
The house is completely quiet.
Exactly. You are trying to finish this massive project, and the cursor is just blinking at you.
Right.
Or, maybe you're on a run or drenched in sweat during a brutal workout. Your lungs are burning.
Your legs feel like absolute cement.
Yes, you hit a wall, and right then, the voice in your head becomes incredibly loud.
And honestly, it gets incredibly persuasive.
Exactly. It sounds so reasonable. It tells you, you did great today. You can finish this tomorrow.
Or, you already ran further than you did last week. Don't overdo it.
Yeah. Why does that voice sound so intensely convincing when you are that tired?
Well, because your mind is incredibly adept at asking simple, devastating questions.
How so?
When you are pushing yourself, when you are in the thick of that discomfort, your mind just zeroes in. It asks you, why? Why are you doing this to yourself?
Wow.
And it starts feeding you excuses. What makes them so dangerous is that they feel entirely real.
Because you're actually hurting.
Yeah, exactly. They feel completely justified. Your mind isn't just throwing random complaints at you. It is meticulously crafting an argument for your surrender.
An argument?
Yes. And it bases that argument on the very real, very physical discomfort you're experiencing in that exact second.
It's like it's building a legal case against your own effort.
That's exactly it.
And to really understand how extreme this case can get, let's look at one of the most intense moments from the source material.
Okay.
Imagine deciding to run the San Diego one-day race.
Oh, man.
Yeah. This is a 24-hour, 100-mile race. It takes place on a looping 1-mile track.
Right. But imagine attempting this with absolutely zero physical preparation for distance running.
Which is a completely absurd premise.
Entirely absurd. I mean, at the time, you were a heavy powerlifter.
Right. You have a massive amount of muscle mass, which requires a ton of oxygen just to move.
Exactly. You haven't run more than 20 minutes on an elliptical machine in months.
You are entirely the wrong body type. You have the wrong preparation.
Ugh.
And you are attempting an ultra marathon.
And the physical breakdown that happens because of that is just catastrophic.
Catastrophic is almost an understatement. Let's fast forward to mile 70.
Okay.
Your physical reality is this. You are staggering.
Just falling apart.
You are so dizzy. The world is literally splitting into double and triple vision. The biomechanical stress of moving a heavy powerlifter's frame over 70 miles of pavement has broken your body.
Wow.
The bones in your feet are fracturing, stress fractures with every agonizing step.
Yeah.
Your kidneys are starting to shut down due to the muscle breakdown. You are urinating blood.
Which is a terrifying medical state.
Completely.
Yeah.
You finally just collapse into a folding chair by the side of the track. You are shivering uncontrollably under a plastic poncho, completely unable to take another step.
But here is where the psychology of this moment becomes so fascinating.
Why?
Because that total physical collapse, the broken bones and the failing kidneys, that was just the trigger.
Wait, what do you mean just the trigger?
The real battle wasn't happening in the feet or the internal organs. The physical breakdown was merely the ammunition your mind needed to start that internal conversation begging for surrender.
Ah.
The mind looks at the blood, feels the fractured bones, and says, look at this damage. We are done. We have to stop. If we take one more step, we are going to die.
Wait, hold on. I have to push back on that.
Go ahead.
When your kidneys are failing and your feet are literally broken, that pain isn't just a mental block.
Right.
That is a physical emergency. If you are driving a car and the check engine light starts flashing red and thick black smoke is pouring from under the hood, you pull over.
To stop the car.
You stop the car. So how on earth do you tell the difference between your body actually breaking down and your mind just wanting to quit?
It's a crucial distinction. And it comes down to understanding your mind's prime directive.
And it's prime directive.
Yes. Your mind's ultimate desire, its fundamental operating system, is designed for comfort and survival. You want sanctuary. It does not care about your goals, your personal growth, or your ultimate potential. It wants you safe, and it wants you comfortable.
So it uses the pain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It uses that real physical or mental discomfort as a weapon. Yes, the pain is real. The fractures are real. But the conclusion your mind draws.
That you have to stop.
Right. That
Yeah.
you absolutely cannot take one more step, that you are entirely empty. That is the illusion.
Wow. So it exaggerates the threat to force a shutdown?
Precisely. He tries to convince you to stop long before any actual fatal risk occurs. It builds a narrative around the pain.
So what does this mean for you, sitting there in that folding chair, feeling like you are literally dying, or, to bring it back to the everyday, sitting at your desk at 2 a.m., feeling completely brain dead?
Right.
If that intense, agonizing discomfort isn't actually your limit, what is it?
If you stop right then, you haven't actually reached your limit. You have simply stopped because it got uncomfortable. Discomfort is a brilliantly disguised false limit. It acts as a ceiling that feels incredibly solid, like concrete, but is actually made of glass.
This brings us to the mechanism behind that illusion, I think, because when you quit, you tell yourself, I gave it my all. That was my absolute maximum, but you didn't. You hit a localized threshold of pain, and you bought into the narrative that the pain meant you were empty.
Exactly. And this happens because buried deep in your mind, you have a governor.
A governor, like on an engine.
Yes, like a mechanical governor.
Think of your body and your mind like a high-performance stock car.
Okay.
Under the hood, you have a massive engine, huge reservoirs of potential power. But stock cars are fitted with a physical mechanical governor.
Right, limiter.
This device limits the flow of fuel and air into the engine so it doesn't burn too hot. It artificially caps your speed at, say, 90 miles per hour.
Even though the engine could do much more.
Exactly. It could easily hit 130 miles per hour. The car thinks 90 is the absolute limit, but only because the governor is choking off the fuel.
And your internal software acts exactly like that mechanical governor.
Wow.
But, your mental governor is infinitely more sophisticated. It doesn't just measure RPMs. It is deeply intertwined with your identity.
It knows you.
Intimately. It knows your deepest insecurities. It knows your fears.
Yeah.
It knows exactly what you love and what you hate.
Yeah.
And it uses all of that personal data to feed you highly personalized pain, doubt, and exhaustion.
Yeah.
It curates a customized feeling of failure to stop you from pushing further.
So it knows exactly what buttons to push to make you fold.
Exactly.
Like, if you are insecure about your intelligence at 2 a.m., it will whisper that you aren't smart enough to finish the project.
Yep. Or if you are physically exhausted, it will amplify the throbbing in your legs.
Right.
But here's the crucial difference.
Okay, what is it?
Unlike a car's mechanical governor, which has absolute physical control over the engine, your mental governor only has the power of suggestion.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yes.
It does not have absolute control over your actions. It can only stop you if you buy into its logic. It only works if you listen to the excuses, accept the false ceiling, and agree to quit.
If your mind is artificially capping your speed to keep you comfortable and creating these intense illusions of fatigue, just how much fuel is actually left in the tank?
That's a lot more than you think.
I want you to think about this quietly for a second. When you are sitting there feeling completely empty, like you have drained every single drop of your energy.
Your focus, your physical strength.
Yeah, where are you really at?
The reality is shocking.
Yeah.
When you feel that you have reached your absolute limit, when you are completely tapped out and your mind is screaming at you to stop, you have not given your all.
Wow.
You are not even close. You're actually only at about 40% of your true capability.
Wait, 40%?
Just 40%.
Let that sink in. When you are at the absolute end of your rope, when you feel like you couldn't type one more word, run one more step, or endure one more minute of stress, you still have 60% of your potential locked away.
Exactly.
This is what's known as the 40% rule. And what is so vital to understand is that the remaining 60% isn't blocked because you lack talent.
No.
It isn't blocked because you lack physical ability or intelligence.
It is blocked purely by your governor. It is a software issue, not a hardware issue.
A software issue.
Yes, your hardware is fine. Your hardware can go the distance, but your software is screaming that the system is failing, triggering an artificial shutdown to protect you from the discomfort of growth.
But wait, hold on. I need to challenge this because it sounds almost too neat.
Too simple.
Yeah, it's one thing to sit on a comfortable couch and intellectualize this 40% rule. It's another thing when you are in real agony.
Of course.
I mean, if I'm at 40% and my legs are giving out or my vision is blurring, I can't just politely ask my brain to unlock the other 60%.
Right.
My brain is in full mutiny. If I try to just tell myself, hey, remember, you have more in the tank, that sounds a lot like toxic positivity.
It does.
Does that actually work when you are in agony? You can't just positive think your way past this, right?
No, you are right. You absolutely cannot polite your way past the governor.
Okay.
Toxic positivity or just repeating hollow affirmations will completely shatter when you are in real pain.
So how do you actually bypass it in the heat of the moment?
To bypass the governor, you have to take active, aggressive control of the internal dialogue.
Yeah.
When your mind throws that simple question at you, why are you doing this? You cannot just ignore it. You have to answer it.
You need a real answer.
And your answer has to carry more neurological weight than the pain you are feeling.
Ah. You need a counter argument that the brain actually believes.
Yes. You have to override the software. And to do that, you use a framework called the cookie jar.
The cookie jar.
Yes. The cookie jar is not about happy thoughts. To push past that 40% mark, you must dig deep into your own past.
Okay.
You have to actively remember what you have already survived. You reach into the psychological cookie jar of your mind and pull out the specific memories of the pain you have previously endured.
Oh, wow.
You pull out the obstacles you thought were impossible that you already overcame, the late nights you survived, the victories you fought bitterly to achieve.
So it's about remembering a time when you were in the dark, when you were suffering, and you found a way through.
Exactly.
You use that memory to remind your governor, I have been here before. I have felt this pain before, and I did not break. I survived.
Right.
But how does simply remembering something stop your legs from burning?
Because it is not just a mental image. It is an endocrine hack.
An endocrine hack?
Yes, it's a neurological override.
Yeah.
Your brain has a very hard time distinguishing between a vividly remembered emotional state and your current reality.
That makes sense.
When you dig into the cookie jar and pull out a memory of extreme resilience, you aren't just floating through files in your head. You are forcing your brain to play back the exact neurochemical state you felt during that past victory.
So what exactly is happening in the body when you do that? Like when you refuse to quit at 40% and you access that memory?
When you refuse to give in to the illusion of the limit and you forcefully recall your own resilience, you trigger the sympathetic nervous system.
The fight or flight response.
Exactly. But by actively choosing to stay in the discomfort, you are choosing fight.
Right.
Your brain floods your system with adrenaline and noradrenaline. Dopamine pathways light up in anticipation of overcoming the obstacle, just like you did in the past.
And what does that chemical cocktail do to the pain?
It acts as an analgesic. Endogenous opioids are released. Miraculously, the pain actually begins to fade.
It fades.
It doesn't disappear completely, but it dulls just enough to let you take one more step. You literally hack your nervous system to suppress the governor's shutdown signals.
That is incredible. By staying in the fight, by refusing the sanctuary of comfort, you do something remarkable. You callous your mind.
Yes. Think about building up thick skin on your hands from lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
At first, the steel bar just tears your hands apart. It is agonizing.
You get blisters everywhere.
Right. But over time, the constant friction builds a callus. The skin hardens. And eventually, that same heavy steel bar doesn't hurt anymore.
Wow.
Your mind works the exact same way.
So when you push past the pain, your perception of what you can handle physically expands.
The governor realizes it cannot stop you with the usual amount of discomfort. The old tricks just don't work anymore.
Right.
So it has to raise the threshold. The limit you thought was absolute, that wall you thought was made of solid concrete, suddenly vanishes.
It was just smoke.
It was just smoke all along. And suddenly, you are accessing your 50%, your 60%, your 70%.
You realize that the only person you are actually playing against is yourself. You are fighting your own mind, your own evolutionary programming for access to your own potential.
And every single time you stay in the fight when you desperately want to quit, you rewrite your internal software.
You redefine your identity.
Yes, you shift from someone who instinctively seeks comfort to someone who can endure the fire. You teach your brain that the 40% shutdown is simply no longer acceptable.
You change the entire trajectory of what is possible for you. The blank screen at 2 a.m. isn't a wall anymore.
It's just the 40% mark.
Right. The burning lungs aren't a sign to stop. They're just the governor asking a question you now know how to answer.
So as you sit here right now, thinking about the walls you've hit in your own life,
The projects you've
the
abandoned.
goals you've let slip away because they just got too hard.
What if you've been stopping at discomfort and calling it your limit?